All right, sports fans, how's everybody out there doing? William Martin coming at you one more time here on YouTube with another edition of the 300 Pounds of Sports Knowledge Podcast. And we, my friends, have ourselves a bona fide shocker out of the National Football League today. And I'm being straight up and honest with you because as the news broke this afternoon, that the Dallas Cowboys were trading edge rusher Micah Parsons to the Green Bay Packers. I was literally in the process of preparing rather, to talk about the stalemate between the team and the player. But even with all of that said, and I read things as far as like, what, the Cowboys would be open to listening to offers on Micah Parsons, and I felt like, what, maybe it was a situation like they were just trying to call his bluff because there was no way in the world that the Dallas Cowboys were going to trade one of the premier edge rushers in the National Football League. But guess what? That's exactly what happened today. And for me, it's so surprising for a lot of reasons. All right. But nonetheless, Cowboys team owner slash president slash general manager, and I'll touch back on that in a minute, Jerry Jones, over the years has had no problem letting the world know that he's a great businessman. But this time, it didn't work out for him. In recent years, we've seen the negotiations between the Cowboys and wide receiver CD Lamb, as well as quarterback Dak Prescott, come down to the 11th hour before contract extensions were finalized. Okay. But this time around, Jerry Jones simply ran into someone who was willing to put his foot down and be as stubborn as him. And for me, I've always questioned why Jerry Jones allows it to get to this point with his star players. I've said it before and I'll say it again. Jerry should have learned from the Emmitt Smith fiasco in 1993 because it almost cost the Dallas Cowboys an opportunity to go back and repeat as Super Bowl champions. And you look at the issues over the years as far as Jerry not wanting to pay Dak Prescott, Jerry not wanting to pay CD Lamb, it coming down to that final moment. Why would you want to try to go through this with Micah Parsons again? And for me, it's one of those where you've got a guy, he's cheated on several girlfriends or several wives, and they've taken him back. They've turned a blind eye to it. But eventually, that guy's going to mess around with the wrong female, and she ain't going to put up with it. And that's basically what happened right here with Micah Parsons. I know, Jerry Jones put out the narrative to say, hey, listen, I was willing to give him $40 million as far as and make $40 million a year, making him the highest paid non-football player in the NFL. Clearly, there was something that Micah Parsons' camp was not happy with. And you know what? It got to a stalemate. I think the Cowboys felt like they needed to have a resolution. Their season starts next Thursday when they're on the road to take on the defending Super Bowl champion Philadelphia Eagles. And nonetheless, they felt like, this was the best thing involved. But Micah Parsons is now a Green Bay Packer. And if you had told me that at the start of this day, well, I would have looked at you and called you crazy. Okay, there's no other way to say it. So you look at it, the Cowboys just traded a guy to Green Bay who in 4 years in the NFL has already amassed 52 and a half career sacks, which was 13th all time in Cowboys franchise history. All right. Nonetheless, yes, the Cowboys are getting back, I believe, 4 picks from Green Bay, which includes the Packers' first round picks for 2026 as well as 2027. But my thing is always this: you make these deals now. Clearly, the picks that you are getting are not going to help your team this year. Okay. And on top of that, the picks that the Cowboys are going to get, as long as Parsons and the rest of the Packers are healthy, That means Dallas is going to be picking at the end of the first round. Are you going to be able to find a guy who is going to replace the production? Not maybe 5 years down the line. Right now, are you going to be able to find a guy in the draft that is going to replace the current production of Micah Parsons? And the answer is no. You just traded away one of the NFL's elite pass rushers in the prime of his career because you could not get a deal done. And of course, one question for me is, has the game of football passed Jerry Jones by? And honestly, I am going to say yes, because this is another example of Jerry Jones's ego, in my opinion, getting the best of him. I've said it for a long time now. Okay, Jerry Jones is wearing too many hats with the Dallas Cowboys. If he wants to continue to own the team, hey, that's his prerogative. He's making money hand over fist. But if you want your team to win more games than they lose on Sunday, if you want your team for the first time in nearly 30 years to say, hey, you know what? We've gotten past the divisional round of the playoffs, then if you're Jerry Jones, you need to step back and allow somebody else to be the team president. You need to step back and allow somebody else to be the general manager. You need to go out there and allow them to hire their head coach, and you need to stop meddling. I keep talking about this all the time. Why is it after each and every game with the Dallas Cowboys, why is Jerry Jones having a press conference? Because Jerry Jones feels that he is bigger than the Dallas Cowboys, and guess what? It shows. For me, it's one of those. It's just a bad look for the Dallas Cowboys because trading Parsons, in my opinion, because you could not get a deal done, is bad enough. You just traded him within your conference, okay? And as I was thinking about, well, there's a stalemate between Micah Parsons and the Cowboys. Maybe they trade him to the AFC, and I'm trying to think who has the cap room, who has the picks on that side to go out there and get a deal done. Because I'm like, Dallas is not going to trade him within the NFC, and I'm thinking maybe a Baltimore or something like that. No, Dallas turned around and traded him to Green Bay. This is a team that you got to go through if you want to do something in the postseason. And remember, it was just a couple of years ago that these Packers went to Arlington and dominated the Dallas Cowboys in the divisional round. I'll tell you like this. If I am the Dallas Cowboys fan, and I'm not, okay, I cannot be excited about this. I think the only people that can be excited about what just happened today with the Dallas Cowboys are the fans of the other teams in the NFC East and those teams as well. Because guess what? Now you don't have to worry about dealing with Micah Parsons. In my opinion, okay, this deal is the equivalent of the Charles Haley deal, but in reverse for the Dallas Cowboys. I'm not saying that Micah Parsons is going to go help Green Bay win the Super Bowl. It clearly changes, the expectations up there. Don't get me wrong, but nonetheless, you think back to that deal that the Cowboys were able to get in 1992, where they picked up a disgruntled Charles Haley off the scrap heaps, if you will, and San Francisco was more than willing to pass him on to them. And of course, Charles Haley was kind of the piece that helped Dallas get over that hump. He brought them championship experience. He had already won a pair of Super Bowls with the 49ers. And of course, he brought that championship experience. He brought that edge rusher that they needed to get over the top. And of course, 3 out of the next 4 years would result in Dallas winning the Super Bowl. This time around, you just gave up one of the best pass rushers in the NFL for a song. Because again, those draft picks that the Dallas Cowboys are getting back, they are not going to equate to the production that Micah Parsons gives. Because aside from his sacks, okay, think about how he opens things up for his teammates, because this is a guy who's consistently doubled and triple teamed. So who has that? Who's going to have that effect on this Dallas defense? A Dallas defense that is breaking in their third different coordinator in as many years as former Bears head coach Matt Eberflus is calling things for that side. But on the flip side, okay, for the Green Bay Packers, this deal just changed things, not only for the Pack, but it also changes the outlook in the NFC North as well as the NFC as a whole. Okay, I just earlier this week talked about my projections for the NFC North, and I talked about it. You know what? I still think that the Lions are going to be in that mix. The Packers are going to be right there. Okay, but this changes things not only for this division, but also come January. Why? Because now the Packers have themselves a bona fide edge rusher. And of course, their defense has just gotten a lot better in the last 2 years, courtesy of the NFC East. Remember, we saw what the signing of Xavier McKinney did for the Green Bay secondary last year. But nonetheless, if you are Green Bay now, you have your first legit star edge rusher since the days of Clay Matthews. All right. And you get Micah Parsons in his prime. And of course, if you're Green Bay, you could not make that deal quick enough today. First of all, to send Dallas to draft compensation and also to put a contract in front of Micah Parsons that was going to make him and his agent happy. But nonetheless, now the Packers have themselves an edge rusher to try to go out there and put pressure on Jared Goff and the Lions. They've got themselves an edge rusher. Look at the quarterbacks in this division. Caleb Williams with Chicago, of course, a young J.J. McCarthy with Minnesota. And then the quarterbacks that Green Bay has to go through if they're going to get to the Super Bowl out of the NFC. Jalen Hurts in Philadelphia. You still got to deal with Jaden Daniels in Washington. Brock Purdy in San Francisco. Matthew Stafford with the Rams. Now you've got yourself an edge rusher who is going to heat up those quarterbacks. And going back to the Dallas Cowboys, what happened to this team a couple of years ago as far as being all in? Remember last year? All off season, Jerry Jones had an opportunity to sign future Hall of Fame running back Derrick Henry, and of course, he went to the Baltimore Ravens for a song and still nearly gained 2,000 yards. And you just look at the Cowboys running game last year, and of course, their top runner from last year, Rico Dowdell, is not even there anymore. Honestly, I cannot say this enough, but the game of football and football as acumen as far as finding talent and maintaining talent and doing business has simply passed Jerry Jones by. And at the end of the day, all the Dallas Cowboys are is a name. Like I said, they just helped everybody out in the NFC East. I think the Eagles still win this division. Washington, we saw them get to the NFC Championship game last year. They've got a young studded quarterback in Jaden Daniels. And of course, the New York Giants are trying. If you are teams now, and I'm looking at Dallas's schedule, they've got Philly on the road in week number 1. They've got the Giants at home in week number 2. If you're the Giants, you're probably salivating to get Dallas. The same thing with Philadelphia. And then, of course, they welcome Micah Parsons and company to town for week number 4. What can I say about the Dallas area professional sports teams? Because remember, it was earlier this year where we had that shocker as far as Luka Doncic being traded to the Los Angeles Lakers, and the folks there wanted to run Nico Harrison out of town. The Dallas area has now just lost 2 star players, okay, within the span of about 6 months or so for nothing. Absolutely nothing but egos. For me, I think the sky is going to be the limit for Micah Parsons with the Green Bay Packers. Jordan Love called it. Remember when this whole process started earlier this summer? You know, Jordan Love went to Instagram and talking about, listen, come to Green Bay. And guess what? Jordan Love just got his wish. For the Dallas Cowboys, they're going to continue to be the Dallas Cowboys, which is going to mean, you know what? Jerry Jones has to make himself the focal point of this team. And when your owner has to make it all about him, you know what? You are fighting an uphill battle. So this is all the Dallas Cowboys are. They're a name. Jerry Jones is happy because this is the most valued franchise in the National Football League. He's going to consistently get 80,000 people at his stadium each and every game. They're going to sell merchandise, this, that, and the third. But at the end of the day, when it matters most, where the final score is, the Dallas Cowboys won't do it. And what they're trying to do won't amount to a hill of beans. Cowboys are going to continue to be mediocre as long as Jerry Jones is calling the shots. TFX, what's going on, my man? You're saying, good, get that stud out of the NFC East. And I know exactly why you're saying that. Listen, like I said before, I don't think anybody else in the NFC East is crying the blues today. I think all of them are sending Jerry not only a thank you card, but maybe a fruit basket with some champagne. Okay, that's the best way to sum it up. But nonetheless, I think, like I said before, the sky is a limit for Micah Parsons in Green Bay. I think this changes their odds. Clearly, the Dallas Cowboys are taking a step back. And I can honestly say, I don't know what the Dallas Cowboys are doing. And the reason why I could say I don't know what the Dallas Cowboys are doing is because I feel that Jerry Jones does not know what he is doing. You can't get the deal done with your star player. And I think right now, this should be a lesson for all the NFL owners around the league. You get first round picks. We know how the CBA works out. Make sure you get that deal done if they have lived up to expectations. Micah Parsons outplayed his contract so far this season, or not this season, but throughout his career. It should never have gotten to this point if you are the Dallas Cowboys. I think it should have been a slam dunk. Just to give you an idea of how bad of a look that this is for Jerry Jones and the Cowboys, the Cincinnati Bengals just took care of Jamar Chase, and they took care of Trey Hendrickson, who was holding in. And the Dallas Cowboys couldn't get it done with Micah Parsons. The self-proclaimed America's team could not get it done. You're saying this was bad. Do you think something else really bad happened besides what we know? I think Jerry's ego got the best of him. He said that he offered, Michael Parsons a sweet deal. I truly do believe that Jerry did offer him a deal, but clearly it wasn't to the liking of Parsons or his representatives. But at the end of the day, you've got to. There are certain players that you have to do whatever it takes to go out there and keep them. And if you are the Dallas Cowboys, can you ask yourself right now, are they a better team without Micah Parsons? And the answer is no. And it also comes down to contracts for certain guys. Yeah, you might say this guy is overpaid, this, that, and the third, based on what he gets. But at the end of the day, are you better with him or are you better without him? There's no way in the world, and there is nobody walking around that could tell me right now that the Dallas Cowboys are a better team because Micah Parsons is in Green Bay. And again, the picks that the Dallas Cowboys are getting do not help this team this season. And if the Packers are able to live up to expectations, those first round picks that Dallas is getting are going to be towards the end of the first round. So you're not going to get a guy there more often than not who is going to come in and replace the productivity that you got from Micah Parsons. And let's just say, for the sake of argument, that Dallas does go out there and find themselves their next star edge rusher. It's not a guarantee that he's going to come in right away and be that guy. You knew what you had in Micah Parsons. You don't know what you're going to have with somebody else. So why let him walk out the door in the first place? That's on Jerry Jones. You have to get that deal done. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. And again, I feel that Jerry's ego once again got in the way. So the Cowboys were already going to be an underdog next Thursday in Philadelphia. And I think they wanted some closure. I totally get it. I mean, we saw the situation in Dallas's last preseason game. Michael Parsons was on the field, but he was laid out on the trainer's table. We've heard so far throughout training camp, back tightness. I guarantee you that, that back didn't feel bad getting on that plane to catch that flight to Green Bay and take their physical and sign that big deal to get all that guaranteed money. I guarantee you his back felt fine then. And, his back is going to be great in about a month when he returns to Big D to take on the Cowboys as a visitor. And like you're saying, he's going to destroy Dak in week number 4. I'll tell you like this. Dak's season was cut short last year because of a hamstring injury. Dak might have some revisionist theory or revisionist history, should I say, with that hamstring come week number 4, because he might see big old number 11 coming in that green jersey, and you know what? He might just want to take a knee and keep it moving. But that's just my thoughts right there. The Dallas Cowboys fumbled the bag. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. How do you let one of the premier edge rushers in the National Football League leave? And at the end of the day, for what Dallas is getting back for him, it's peanuts. If you were Green Bay, you couldn't get that deal done quick enough. And that's how it went down today. It went down in the New York minute. The Packers made that deal get done. I'm sure Micah Parsons took his physical, and they said, you know what, sign here. Let's just back up the truck, pay this man, and let's get ready for week number 1. And that is exactly what the Pack did. Wow. That's all I could say for this one. Jerry Jones, again, it's passed him by. It's clear as day right now. You can't put the toothpaste back in the tube, and that's what's happened. Everybody's seen it from Jerry and him not being able to get it done. And again, the Cowboys would truly be better off if somebody else was making the decisions right there. But they completely fumbled the bag on this one. But folks, that's going to wrap it up. And as always, I want to take this time out to thank each and every one of you for checking out the 300 Pounds of Sports Knowledge podcast here on YouTube. TFX, my man, as always, man, it's a pleasure. Long time no hear from you. But you know what? Our favorite time of the year is here, my man. It's football time. So we've got plenty to talk about. Can't wait to see more of you in the comments boxes for the next coming months. And for everybody else, if you like what you heard and saw on this podcast, you know what to do. Just hit that like button as well as subscribing to this channel. And like I always say, it's greatly appreciated. Also, if you're on the X, formerly known as Twitter, you can check me out at 300 Pounds of Sports. And like I always say, if you give me that follow, I will give you that follow in return. And the same goes for Instagram, where you can check me out at 300 Pounds of Sports Knowledge. Also, if you're on Facebook, just check us out at the Sports Depot 365. And as far as I'm concerned, one of the better sports debating sites going around. So, as always, fine folks, my name is William Martin. I'm signing off, and I'm saying thanks once again for checking out the 300 Pounds of Sports Knowledge podcast here on YouTube. Be well, everybody.